Hello there. Welcome to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly and I have a 2-page scrapbook layout for you with simple embellishing. We're going to be using the Storybook Life Designer Series paper and sticker sheet. You can see some great country and gardening stickers here. There is some vintage pearls we're going to be adding to this set, and the Designer Series paper includes the pattern paper that are two-sided. There's also some cut apart sheets and two 12 by 12 ephemera punch out sheets. So you get so much in this pattern paper. You can see that it has a little bit of a vintage feel. There's gardening, there's a storybook element with some storybook characters, and it also speaks to me in terms of country. It gives me a real country vibe. I'm going to be adding to my Simply Scrappin' workshop the Storybook Life coordinating cardstock, which is the two-toned white core cardstock. We aren't going to be using all of that today for this layout, but this is going to be part of my Simply Scrappin' series. Now I want to scrap my granddaughter Hattie Elaine's birthday party that was a county fair theme. Hattie Elaine is all things country. Those are her favorite things. She loves 4-H. She loves to show her bunnies and her sheep. And so we grabbed the homemade jam, made some homemade county fair games, and had some little mini pies and had a great county fair birthday party. So I thought that this country feel would be perfect to document that. I love the strawberry paper, and I think with the red and the blue gingham in her party, the strawberry paper with the blue and the red is going to work perfectly. Now I'm going to actually use somewhat of a pattern that I used a couple weeks ago for an over-the-top floral layout. Now my paper crafters have been begging for some other themes besides large florals. Now, although there's florals in the strawberries, you're going to be seeing that you could easily use a plaid background or a more masculine or earthy tone from this collection. So I've gutted the strawberry pattern in by cutting 1 inch all the way around. So from 1 inch to 11 inches all the way around. But I'm going to try to be even more frugal and cut this frame apart and pair it with a cardstock frame to make the background so that I don't have to make 2 frames out of 2 different 12 by 12 pieces of paper. So I'm actually going to make 2 L's or 2 angles out of 1 frame, and then I'm going to repeat that process with some cherry cobbler. Now, cherry cobbler isn't part of the coordinating cardstock, but because of the photos that I'm scrapbooking with the red gingham in the background from Hattie's party and the red that's in the strawberries, I decided to pull out a sheet of the cherry cobbler. The cherry cobbler is one of my all-time favorite colors from Stampin' Up. So I'm just again snipping 2 sides so that I can get an L so that that can frame the background. And then I'm going to top the 2 L frames with an 11 by 11 willow white piece, and then we're going to build up from there. So the layout that I created that was super similar to this used the Floral Delight collection, and it was over the top flowers and die cuts. But I really wanted to show my paper crafters that they can turn an over the top floral into a more neutral pattern or a different theme, even a masculine theme. So I'm going to add 2 pieces of cardstock here in the boho blue, 9.5 by 10 inches, and tearing the bottom. I'm going to cut out of the pattern paper or the Designer Series paper 4 of the 3x4 cards. So I'm taking the boho blue patterns and I'm going to toggle those. I think I'm going to flip those around actually so that the opposites are in diagonal opposite corners. Then I've created some 1/2 inch strips and I'm going to tear those at approximately 8 3/4 inches. Some of those will be a little longer, some of those will be a little shorter, and I on purpose don't want them to be torn at a perfect 8 3/4. We're going to mount those on a willow white piece that is 6.5 by 9 inches, and then once they're mounted, we're going to tear the bottom, and it's going to make a nice interesting strip element. So those of you that follow my channel that watched my Floral Delight video will begin to recognize this pattern. I love to recreate or reuse patterns and change them up a little bit. So the framing in the back is different, and then the whole theme of this is a little bit different in that it's not over the top florals. We're going to use very simple embellishing. In fact, because this is a Simply Scrappin' workshop, we're going to embellish with punch outs. It's going to be so fast and it's going to be over in no time flat and it's going to be adorable. So I'm just arranging these strips with just a teeny bit, not even an eighth of an inch in between, a very tiny bit of the willow white in between each strip, and then we'll trim that down and tear it across the bottom. And then we're going to add that to the center and have those two cut apart cards be toggled on either side of the strip piece. And it's going to make for some vibrant colors in the center with the earthy tones, and it's going to lend itself to the country vibe of Hattie's Party. Love that. I think it already looks like a completely different layout from the Floral Delight layout, simply because the focus isn't on the flowers. There are some flowers in the collection, especially in the strawberry pattern, but the focus isn't about the flowers. So we're bringing out a little bit more of the earthy tones, a little bit more of what could be considered masculine tones, even though there's some vines and some greeneries. You could definitely use a different pattern in the background besides the strawberries, like the crisscross brown, the flannel. There would be lots of different possibilities to make this into a masculine layout. And I really want my paper crafters to see the possibilities that even if you are inspired by an over-the-top floral layout, you can turn it and twist it and make it work for you and make it your own. So now we're all ready to the embellishing. It's such a simple background. So we're going to look at the punch out sheets. I think I'd like to bring in a little bit of strawberry, probably a little bit of the bunnies. Since it was a county fair theme, my daughter decorated using wooden pallets from the country, and she added all kinds of photos in the background of Hattie showing her bunnies, showing her sheep, doing all those things that she does in 4-H, and her little friend Kinsley wore her 4-H shirt to the party. And so I think the bunnies will be perfect, and we'll be able to use the Some Bunny Special title. Especially, I think we could put Some Bunny Special right by the photo of Hattie and Kinsley, and then it's her special friend that she had at her birthday party. And we had a cute little bundt cake, a strawberry bundt cake, and little mini bundt cakes and then mini pies were so cute in the background. So I think we could just add some very simple ephemera clusters, maybe in a triangle over on the left. So if we do the left side photo on the left page, the upper right corner of the right photo, and then the lower right corner of the bottom photo, you've got a great visual triangle. And maybe simply putting 2 pieces of ephemera ephemera in each cluster. Less is more. This is part of my Simply Scrappin' workshop, so it's a simple, pattern-oriented, simple supply list with no die cutting or Cricut cutting needed. So I think we'll go with that little mouse, and I've used this collection in the past, and I've torn off the little tail, and I've tucked that little tail under so that it's curled around the photo, and I think that's so cute. We can add the little turnips because of the red color in the upper corner. It still goes with the county fair theme. Now, we had all kinds of county fair food. So we had chili dogs and corn dogs and the little mini pies and all the things that you have at the fair. And what a fun theme. It's not a real, big theme that you hear about, but it worked out perfectly. We added some burlap. I brought some of my homemade Kelly's jellies, and put some little gingham cloth tops on those, and it just worked out perfectly. I think I'll put this little fence over there and then maybe look at the words. There's one little word sticker that says sunshine and warm days, and then another little bunny sticker that has a little bit of red. He has a turnip in his hand, and then I think we could add maybe some carrots and some seeds. So it isn't all about florals. They do lots of different things at the county fair, fresh vegetables and fruits and all these different stands. I think that's going to go perfectly. Perfectly. I can't believe how quickly and easily this came together. And I love the rich red in that. I love the rich cherry cobbler in that. And it goes perfectly with the strawberry patch pattern. So you could change up these colors again for gardening, for story time, for something masculine and outdoors. I think it would be so easy to change this up to a masculine layout. So I'm actually going to do my journaling on some journal strips. You can actually just cut strips of cardstock, and I'm going to journal my story on the left page and the right page on the bottom. Journaling can also be not only, functional, and it's all about telling the story, but it can be a great filler for white space, and just tucking that underneath, it's a perfect spot. You could also cut a circle or a rectangle or some other decorative element to journal on. You could probably journal on a few of the boho blue patches there if you wanted to, but I really like the strips across the bottom. So simple, easy embellishing, simple page, but so effective with great photo opportunities. Of course, no layout is complete until you've added the bling. So I'm going to pull in some of those antique pearls, and we're going to add those in some different places. So you'll have to stay tuned here on Friday. It's the second Friday of the month, and we have our sketch hop. We have a monthly sketch hop where I get together with 7 other ladies. There are 8 of us from different creative backgrounds, and we do our take on the same sketch. And this Friday, I'll be using the Storybook Life collection again to make a really unique, oversized overlay scrapbook layout. And so I'm so excited to share part of my Storybook Sparkle and Shine workshop on Friday, and you've seen part of my Storybook Life Simply Scrappin' today. I love how simple and easy this came together, and I love 2 full 12 by 12 ephemera punch-out sheets that are included in the designer series paper along with punch-outs. You get so much in this collection, you can't go wrong with your embellishing. It makes it so simple without having to fussy cut or die cut or Cricut cut. Won't you hit like, subscribe, the notifications bell, share, and shoot me a comment. Come back soon for more right here on Snips by Kelly. Bye-bye.